As you know, 12 days ago, I had dinner with President Trump, a dinner that was set up by my friend Kid Rock, because we share a belief that there's got to be something better than hurling insults from 3,000 miles away. And let me first say that to all the people who treated this like it was some kind of summit meeting, you're ridiculous. Like I was going to sign a treaty or something. I have no power. I'm a fucking comedian, and he's the most powerful leader in the world. I'm not the leader of anything, except maybe a contingent of centrist-minded people who think there's got to be a better way of running this country than hating each other every minute. So, thank you. Okay, so meet up in person. Maybe it'll be different. Spoiler alert, it was. First good sign, before I left for the Capitol, I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president has said about me. Things like stupid, dummy, lowlife dummy, sleazebag, sick, sad, stone cold crazy, really a dumb guy, fired like a dog, his show is dead. There's 60. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it, which he did with good humor. And I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters just tightened. Oh my God, Bill, are you going to say something nice about him? What I'm going to do is report exactly what happened. You decide what you think about it. And if that's not enough pure Trump hate for you, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. So no, I didn't go MAGA. And to the president's credit, there was no pressure to. After we left the Oval Office, he showed me the little room off the office, you know, the one where Clinton used to... Okay. The blowjob room. Okay. Well, not anymore. That's where they keep the merch now. It is.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope all's good wherever you are. Bill Maher, on his most recent show of last night, addressed the meeting with President Trump, and I thought this was great. I actually thought it was a whole great show. Ended up watching the whole thing. Without further ado, let's get into it. And as a reminder to all of you, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash that thumbs up. Let's go.
And he gave me a bunch of hats, but he didn't ask me to take a picture in one, which I appreciated. The guy I met is not the person who the night before the dinner shit-tweeted a bunch of nasty crap about how he thought this dinner was a bad idea and what a deranged asshole I was. I read it and thought, oh, what a lovely way to welcome someone to your house. But when I got there, that guy wasn't living there. Now, does Trump want respect? Of course, who doesn't? My friend said to me, what are you going to wear to the White House? I said, I don't know, but I'm not going to dress like Zelensky, I'll tell you that. Okay, just for starters, he laughs. I'd never seen him laugh in public, but he does, including at himself. And it's not fake. Believe me, as a comedian of 40 years, I know a fake laugh when I hear it. And I thank you for them. No. Okay, example. In the Oval Office, he was showing me the portraits of presidents, and he pointed to Reagan and said, in all seriousness, you know the best thing about him? His hair. I said, well, there was also that whole bringing down communism thing, waiting for the button next to the Diet Coke button to get pushed and I go through the trap door. But no, he laughed, he got it. I said to him at one point, Mr. President, you know the dog, that's unusual in the White House. He said, well, a lot of the presidents, they had a dog for political reasons. I said, no, people love dogs, that's what that is. Oh yeah, okay, that's true. I'm telling you what happened. At one point, we were walking through his amazing tour of the whole house. And I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but it must have been something with the 2020 election, because I know he used the word lost. And I distinctly remember saying, wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that. He didn't get mad. He's much more self-aware than he lets on in public. Look, I get it. It doesn't matter who he is at a private dinner with a comedian. It matters who he is on the world stage. I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists, because everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, at least on this night with this guy. Bob, Kid Rock, told me the night before, he said, if you want to get a word in edgewise, you're going to have to cut him off. He'll just go on. Not at all. I've had so many conversations with prominent people who are much less connected, people who don't look you in the eye, People who don't really listen because they just want to get to their next thing. People whose response to things you say just doesn't track, like, what? None of that with him. And he mostly steered the conversation to, what do you think about this? I know, your mind is blown, so's mine. There were so many moments when I hit him with a joke or contradicted something, and no problem. At dinner, he was asking me about the nuclear situation in Iran in a very genuine, hey, I think you're a smart guy, I want your opinion sort of way. And I said, well, obviously you're privy to things about it I'm not, but for what it's worth, I thought the Obama deal was worth letting play out because we made Iran destroy 98% of the uranium, and they were 15 years away from a bomb. And then I said to him, but we got rid of that. You got rid of that. He didn't get mad or call me a left-wing lunatic. He took it in.
There's a big difference between Trump now and Trump in his first term, right? When in 2016, he was a little bit more jokingly with the media, with everybody, I would say. He didn't run the country as much as a right-winger as he is now, as much look, he's still not far right. The left like to say he's super far right. He is not. Look at his stance on abortion. But he's doing a great job, and I think right now, two things. I think Trump 2.0, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, them going into Mar-a-Lago, the FBI, and raiding Melania's closet is going to go down as one of the biggest political mishaps that's ever happened in history. They've pissed off the wrong dude, and now he's a damn savage. He might not be that way in public. Okay, there's a persona. I think with all these presidents, I think you pick a president, there's going to be a persona a little bit. And also, the man has a sense of urgency now. He just had 2 attempts on his life. If he wants to get shit done, he's got to do it now. There's no way that you have 2 people try to assassinate you and that doesn't give you some sense of urgency to get stuff done. Anyways, let's get back to the video.
I told him I thought parts of his plan for Gaza were wacky, but that I had supported him in the idea that Gaza could be Dubai instead of hell. I told him he was wrong when he tweeted the night before that I was critical of all things Trump. Not true. Check the tapes. Moving Israel's embassy to Jerusalem, loved it. The border did need to be controlled. I'm glad the cops are getting their morale back. DEI had gone too far. Biological men shouldn't be playing women's sports. Europe should pay for their defense. And of course, it makes sense that Arab countries should take in Arab refugees, like the million Syrians who wound up in Germany when Saudi Arabia took none. He said to me, you're right, they took none. I said, well, you should remind your boyfriend in Saudi Arabia that the next time you see him. He laughed. I never felt I had to walk on eggshells around him. And honestly, I voted for Clinton and Obama, but I would never feel comfortable talking to them the way I was able to talk with Donald Trump. That's just how it went down. Make of it what you will. Me, I feel it's emblematic of why the Democrats are so unpopular these days. He was even okay when I checked him on the orangutan lawsuit. He was. I know. He said to Dana White, you know, Bill said my father was an orangutan, and I really love my father. And I said, well, Mr. President, I did that because I didn't like what you were doing regarding Obama's birth origins. I thought that was low. Again, no anger, just a little smile as if to say, yeah, I get it. The most surreal part of the whole night was when I got home. I flew back right after the dinner, and I'm in bed watching 60 Minutes from the night before. And there's Trump in one of their stories, standing at a podium in a room that looked to me like one of the rooms and places we'd just been in. And he's ranting, disgusting, you're a terrible person. And I'm like, who's that guy? What happened to Glinda the Good Witch? And why can't we get the guy I met to be the public guy? And I'm not saying it's our responsibility to do that. It's not. I'm just reporting exactly what I saw over 2.5 hours. I went into the mine, and that's what's down there. A crazy person doesn't live in the White House. A person who plays a crazy person on TV a lot lives there, which I know is fucked up. It's just not as fucked up as I thought it was. And I have no illusions now that I'm back to work at my job that he might start a new list. Because I don't have a good feeling and will be critical about a lot of what he's doing. The trade war and disappearing people, ruling by decree, threatening judges, gutting the government with glee. But I also think he now understands I have a job to do, Or at least he did on this night, because he said to me early on that he'd seen our last episode, which was the Friday before this dinner. And he said, I thought maybe you'd be nice, but you hit me really hard. I did. Because I'm not going to pull my punches that presidents get to propose a third term for themselves. He understood that, and without animus.
Yeah, you would have to guess that a lot of people that Trump, before he became president, a lot of the people that he was doing business with, a lot of them would have been Democrats. The guy was in New York City doing real estate deals in New York City. That alone tells you that he'd be dealing with left-wing people. Maybe not as far progressive left as they are now with the Gavin Newsoms of the world, which Bill Maher is not a far progressive. He's very left, though. He is not centrist. People like to say he's centrist. He is not a centrist. Not even close. Look, I don't mind Bill Maher. I actually like Bill Maher. I listen to a lot of people on the left. All the music I listen to, look, anybody in the world, if you listen to music, unless you're listening to only country music, most likely, or watching movies, you're watching movies made and directed by people who are very left, and you're listening to music by people who are very left. That's just going to be the way it is. If you only listen to music and arts done by right-wingers, you would be very limited in what you listen to. So there's no reason why people can't go to dinner together, sit down, share a meal like it was back in the day. When I grew up, my family was very conservative. But they had friends that voted for, say, Bill Clinton. They could all sit down, disagree on most political issues, but have a beer, share a meal, have some laughs. That's the way it should be in America. But now we've gotten so divided. And I really do blame one side for that, because my stance has not changed on most things since I was a teenager. Let's go.
That doesn't mean he's not going to try to do it. At one point, I said to him, you're scaring people. Do you really want to be scaring your own citizens so much? And I know now you're all saying, and what did he say to that? Honestly, I don't remember. But it wasn't, okay, I'll stop. So MAGA fans, don't worry. Your boy gave me nothing. Just hats. Hats and a very generous amount of time and a willingness to listen and accept me as a possible friend, even though I'm not MAGA, which was the point of the dinner. My favorite part of the whole night was we were standing in the blowjob room. We were. And he said, you know, I've heard from a lot of people who really like that we're having this dinner. Not all, but a lot. And I said, same. A lot of people told me they loved it, but not all. And we agreed. The people who don't even want us to talk, we don't like you. Don't talk, as opposed to what? Writing the same editorial for the millionth time and making 25-hour speeches into the wind? Really, that's what liberals have? He takes the piss out of everybody else and we can hold ours? Okay, that's my report. You can hate me for it, but I'm not a liar. Trump was gracious and measured, and why he isn't that in other settings, I don't know, and I can't answer, and it's not my place to answer. I'm just telling you what I saw, and I wasn't high. Damn, missed opportunity. All right, we got a great show. Piers Morgan and Josh Grogan are here. Oh, thank you.
Great episode, and I like the monologue. I think it's funny that Trump signed the insult page. I think it's funny that Bill Maher brought it over. And I'm sure those two guys, if you took politics off the table, they could probably have a great conversation. They're both been very successful in their respective fields. I'm guessing they know a lot of people in common, obviously Kid Rock. I'm not sure Dana White is a Bill Maher guy. But even freaking Dana White. The guy runs a sports company with multiple personalities. Imagine dealing with all those fighters and all their personalities. If you can do that, you can sit down with Bill Maher. And again, Bill Maher comes at stuff, even though I disagree with him politically, he comes at stuff fairly logically, in my opinion. He's got his opinion, he's allowed his opinion, and it's not a wild opinion. It's a very left opinion, which I disagree with. Mine's way more right. But it's not crazy. He's not out there that's saying that one day you can wake up, if you're a man, you can just be a woman. That is crazy lunatic stuff. And Bill Maher is not on that boat. Therefore, I can listen to him. The same way I listen to libertarians. I listen to Dave Smith's podcast all the time. Me and Dave Smith agree on some stuff. We disagree on a lot of stuff. But that's how it is with libertarians. They can't pick a side. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up button for your boy. Consider subscribing to the channel. Help it grow. Catch you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.